So if you've noticed, I've been a little absent on my channel and also even on Instagram. It is because of what just happened and really rattled me. In light of recent events, I felt compelled to make this video, to sit down, share a little bit about what's happened, and then kind of use this as a way to inform and educate and help protect other women out there, because you guys, there are some really scary, dangerous, bad people out there. I am referencing some things I've come across in the dating world. However, even if you are not dating, this can apply to anybody that you let into your life, into your home, whether it be a babysitter, a business partner. If you are someone who considers yourself a kind, empathetic person, it makes you so much more of a target. You're not even thinking about these types of things and that somebody would be capable of that. So that means that you have to be that much smarter and you have to know how to protect yourself, things to look out for. I'm basically going to give you the advanced master class in becoming a PI, because no one is going to slide one by me or any of my followers, not on my watch. So about a month ago, I met my dream man. This guy was just on every level what I thought was my perfect partner. This was somebody with like a lot of depth and compassion, and we had such deep conversations. Everything was giving me like green flags across the board. It got to a point where I am over here thinking, this is my person. Any guesses where we're going with this? One morning, out of the blue, I woke up like 4 in the morning and I just had this sense of panic. I couldn't explain it. I don't know even what caused it, but something just gave me a really bad vibe. 4 in the morning, I literally got on my phone and I decided to do a background check. And I have never done a background check on somebody that I'm dating. So I'm looking at it and everything is looking actually legit. Like everything's adding up, jobs, time frames, locations. I'm like, oh, okay. But still, the feeling, the little voice in my head was like, I don't know. I don't know what compelled me. I decided to contact his ex. And I found her because in the report it says like associated persons and it had her name. She said, your intuition is right. I wish I could tell you more, but I'm scared for my safety. I'm sorry, what? And so I wanted to obviously respect her wishes, but at the same time I'm like, she said, talk to this woman. She also dated him and she can tell you more. Long story short, this person was a complete fraud, Dirty John style. He goes from woman to woman, and this one told me that he took thousands of dollars from her. And then the most recent one, she said that not only did he grift off of her, but they were engaged. She was pregnant, and one day out of the blue, he left her for someone else, and she was like, but I'm pregnant with your baby. And he said, I don't care, just get rid of it. And he left and never spoke to her again. Didn't even ask about the baby. So like, this is the level of evil. To say this was shocking was such an understatement, because remember, as far as me and him were going, he seemed like the greatest guy. I ended up talking to 3 women that he had done this to. And still, it was such a mind, you know what, because I'm like, these women have no reason to lie to me. And also, I always believe the woman. And yes, I know there are some cases out there where the woman lies or whatever, but I am inclined to always believe the woman until proven otherwise. Oh, also, other important thing to say, when I did end it, I did not tell him any of this. I just made it about me. Especially when you are ending something with a person who could potentially be dangerous, you don't want to trigger them. That actually is not even the scariest story. The scariest story I will share last. This just really made me wake up to the fact that there are bad people out there. I just thought that everything I've been through in my life, I could recognize it, but really, you can't always, and so you have to be smarter. So we're just gonna start with level 1. This is the level of research I would do if this was a babysitter or somebody who maybe I was going on a first date with, just getting to know, or anyone, frankly, that I'm letting into my home. So first thing, we all know how to do a basic Google search, okay? Put their name in quotes, add the city, add any nicknames. Sure, we all know this. Next level is a reverse image search, and not just on Google. I'll show you how to do it on Google. You go to the little picture icon, you can put in pictures, it will pull up if there's that image. They now have apps that specifically are looking for the person's face. The app is called Reverse, and you can put in a picture and it will show if they have a picture on any dating apps or anything else, okay? Next thing, this might even be my biggest tip in this video, and I've spoke about this before, but there are now Facebook groups called Are We Dating the Same Guy? And they have them in every major city. And this is a community where you can share any warnings, or you can post about somebody who you're starting to date, and then people will chime in if they're currently dating this person, if they're married, or if they've had bad experiences. So the thing about these groups is you have to know how to search them because they're a little bit tricky. I don't think I can show you a screenshot of this because of the group rules. It's very highly confidential and anonymous, but you can only search by first name. What I will typically do is do this search for the first name and age, just to kind of narrow it down, because let's just say it's someone like Mike. There's going to be a million Mikes, and you have to really scroll through and look at the pictures and the comments to see if it's your person. If I can't find them, then I will just put their first name, and you have to scroll through and you have to look at the comments. Now I know there's going to be people out there saying, oh, this is just bitter exes trash talking their guys. And I'm sure, yes, there is some of that, but what I am looking for, if there's any allegations of violence, cheating, some women, share certain guys who are going around passing around STDs, and a lot of them, there's like multiple women sharing their stories. It's not just one rogue comment. So look for the patterns, use your own judgment of like what is concerning enough that it's not even worth going on a date. The other thing I will say is if they travel to other cities or if they've recently come from a different city, you can join other cities groups to look them up there, because some of these guys they're traveling cheaters. Now, there is also an app, it's called the T app. There you can search by phone number, which makes it quite a bit easier to search, and people are posting there, and it's nationwide. But because that one is newer, there's not as much on there. Now, Mrnumber, it is an app, and this is an app you can put in the phone number, and this will tell you if they have been with SWs, if you know what I mean. And it is a database where the SWs, they write reviews about their clients who have come to see them, and it's by phone number. I know this is like, this is so sad to say, like, that this is the world that we live in, and these are the things that we have to think about, but we do. And again, especially if you are someone who can't even fathom that people will do this, that is why it is that much more important that you vet people. Now we're moving on to level 2, and this is not necessary for every person you meet, okay? But I would say before becoming exclusive with anybody, or if it's a babysitter who you are allowing to be with your kids for, or you're going into business with someone, okay? First thing is county court record searches. You want to go and look for any criminal history, any restraining orders, arrests, things like that. And you want to use their full legal name and then do both a civil and a criminal record search. So it can very easily get missed because you have to know the right places to look. You have to know their legal name, etc. So I had tried doing this in the past. Now I'm at a point where I have subscribed to a background check website. The one that I use is Truthfinder. There's also been verified, but this does all of the work for you, and it tells you like more information than you probably even need to know. For me, what I'm looking for is any criminal activity. Actually, one of my good friends did this with her live-in babysitter who was supposedly background checked by an agency and found there was a history of like embezzlement and theft and things like that. But there are free sites as well, because yes, it's $30 a month or $30 every report that you run, but they do have a free one. It's called fastpeoplesearch.com. There are multiple ones. This is the best of the free sites, but they're just not as comprehensive and accurate as the paid ones, unfortunately. And I also do want to say, if you find anything that is potentially violent, that's all I would need to see. If you confront them and you say, hey, I saw this, they are going to tell you the story in which they are the victim. They were falsely accused, the other person was crazy, whatever the case may be. In my opinion, it's not worth the risk. Just know that they are always going to tell the version of events where they were falsely accused or they were the victim. Now, after that, if something still feels off, you can do the step and contact their ex. Almost consider it like if you're hiring someone for a job, you're contacting their references, right? So if you really are getting serious with someone and something still feels off, it's kind of like a reference check in a way. This isn't something that you would always need to do or I even necessarily recommend. Only if you really have that intuitive feeling. And remember, the ex, they might just slander the person if they had a bad breakup, you don't know. But for me, again, I'm looking for very worrisome things. Now we're gonna go to level 3, and this is personal safety and boundaries to use either while dating or just being a woman out and about in the world. The first thing I want to say, I would recommend using a Google Voice number and not giving out your real number, because your real number is attached to your address and they can find other information about you, namely where you live, through your phone number. A lot of people don't realize that. So you can get a Google Voice number. It is free. It is very easy to do. I would use that. I personally would do a Zoom call or a FaceTime call with somebody before meeting anybody off an app, not just to make sure they are who they say they are. You can see somebody's face and talk to them. You can kind of get a vibe. This is one thing I want to really pass the word about. There is an app, it's called Noonlight. So basically, if you are walking back to your car, or any time that you feel unsafe, you hold down the button and you don't release it until you get home safe. And if you release it before that, it will send your coordinates to contact your family member or to the police. And then they will know where you are and they can come immediately. Also, mace or a personal alarm. There's something called Birdie. Another thing, this is my scary story time. I would not recommend ever posting where you are. Now, that's kind of why I've been posting a lot less on Instagram. If anything, I post it much later or the next day. I stupidly made a mistake one time and I posted where I was, and somebody showed up there very threatening and caused a whole scene, and it was extremely scary. And since then I have upped my personal security, just not posting where I am, what I'm doing, but also I have stepped up the security in my home. Something that I have now that I really love and recommend, there are these new security cameras. Instead of putting them on the outside of your home, they go on the inside. They can't be tampered with. These, I have it plugged inside. It's on the inside of the window. They've never once lost connection, and they have a constant source of power. And I use my own SIM cards. So all of the footage on those, I get to keep. I don't have to subscribe to anything. But really the biggest peace of mind factor for these cameras is that they have not ever lost power or connection or Wi-Fi or anything like that. And then last thing, one of the most important that I want to say for personal safety, especially as a female, a lot of us get into our car and then we go on our phone, we check our messages, we start scrolling. That is a very vulnerable thing to do. Get in your car and go. Don't get in your car and linger. You can be a target. People see that you're in your car alone. Maybe the door isn't locked. Even if it is locked, if somebody has a weapon. And yes, I know a lot of this is sad that I even have to make this type of video, and I wish I didn't, but this is kind of, unfortunately, the world we live in. So it's just about being smart, knowing how to do the research, and vet people, protect yourself. I feel very blessed that I have a platform and I'm able to use some of these experiences to help warn other women. So with all that said, I hope you found this useful and stay on guard. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon with a new video. Back to my normal content.